going. We got lots to get through. A fireside chat is next, and about patient centricity. And we started talking about this. It's all about having the patients first, and this and focus is all about this patient-centric kind of conversation. So let me welcome up to the stage to talk to us about DCT technology and how the DCT coverage of GCP and privacy and compliance plays a big part. So Ravi Ramaswamy, come on up here. Mohammed Imran and Shinya Yamamoto is next to join us for a nice fireside chat to keep the conversation going in a little bit of a different direction. Welcome to the stage. Welcome. Nice to see you. Grab a seat, grab a mic, and I'll let you guys get it started. Clock's on here, and if you want to have any time for questions, I highly recommend finishing within a few minutes early, okay? And you know, we may run out of time for questions, but there's no question. You can always have time to connect. We got a networking event tonight, a great opportunity to connect. But if you guys want any questions, just stop about 5 minutes before your time's up. You see it on the clock, patient centricity. Over to you.
Hi. I think if we look at any healthcare product, be it a pharma or be it a medical device, we need to prove its efficacy at a scale across the population. It has to work across the cross-section of people, diverse demographics, age profiles, disease profiles, and the like. There can be no medical product which has not undergone clinical trial. Till today, what we have been doing is to have centralized clinical trials wherein you go and administer a drug to the patient, look at what the outcomes have been, and then you decide on the efficacy in terms of whether we are going to deploy it to scale or not. Come pandemic, and this has changed. We are now looking at what we call as decentralized clinical trials is being talked about. And to solve this challenge, simply because centralized trials and availability of patients and recruiting them and getting them onto the fold was always a challenge. Typically, the dropout rate is about 40%. So here, without much ado, I think I would like to introduce our guests of the day, Mohammed Imran and Shinya-san from Japan. I would like them to sort of give a brief introduction, and then we get on to the topic of DCT. I understand you have a presentation, so you go through the presentation while I ask my questions or where I clarify the doubts that I have, if that is okay with you all.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Mohammed Imran. I live in Tokyo, working there for the last 17 years. Actually, I completed my studies there. I got fascinated with Japan, and little closer. Okay, and I started working there, started my career in IT for a company called Oracle. After that, I've been to healthcare industries, especially the CRO. I found Japan is quite a standardized company. I've been to many countries, east to west, and I saw that what the standard they're maintaining is really high. But well, nobody's perfect. And I try to find what the gap I can fill, what I can contribute to the Japanese society. And I said that they are very eager to introduce a new technology. And I found there are many pharmaceutical companies in Japan. Well, I can contribute what could be the the best possible way there. Coming to this topic, decentralized clinical trial. Started my journey in 2017 when I found that maybe most of them, you people know that the patient centricity was a very catching phrase in 70s. But after that, nothing worked well. And when the COVID came, the DCT, decentralized clinical trial, came to again in picture. And I thought, what services we can do in DCT, what exactly we can do. Coming to the conventional type of clinical trial to decentralized clinical trial, I mean, what makes sense? Then I realized that actually that is a patient centricity. And I'm happy to say that I'm the first one who brought home healthcare support, like sending the nurse to the patient house to Japan. And now we, like my company, are trying to do the decentralized clinical trial in Japan as well as in Asian countries. If you see my slide, you'll find that this group is having multiple services, whether the patient-facing, sponsor-facing, or the site-facing. In our clinical trial term, we say PRO, Patient Recruitment Organization, the CRO, or the SMO. It was a big challenge for me how to fill a gap, what exactly I can make the sense here. So as I said before, I thought in clinical trial I can make it. So home healthcare support was already existing in Japan, but it was not introduced in the clinical trial phase. Just coming to, I'm talking about that decentralized clinical trial, what exact meaning for you that? Just going to the another slide and show you that how it is different between conventional and the decentralized clinical trial. If you see the conventional clinical trial, it is like everything to the site. I mean, subject means patient is going to the site. PI are there, and the CRC, nurse, everything is in the subject, in the hospital. But if you see the decentralized clinical trial, we are utilizing the technology, decentralized platform like mobile health, or like the small patches, or the medical patches to collect the data. We are also providing the nurses to the patient house. We are also providing the facility to go to the nearby hospitals to go for the, especially for the oncology patient, they are living far away. So for the screening purpose or the follow-up purpose, they can go to the nearby hospitals and get the data and provide that data to the platform or to the PI or in the EDC format. Now, what I realize here that before it was like sort of site-centric, whereas hospital was everything. But the truth is that, as my moderator will say, we are doing it for patient, right? So why don't we center the patient? The hospitals, or let's say the pharmaceutical company, they're working for patient. The patient is the main, if I say in business way, is a client. But in the whole process, we feel like we're serving, not serving, we are sort of doing something which is like, oh, we can do it for them. We're not feeling like we're serving them. So we come up with the patient-centric things, like and the decentralized clinical trial, where a patient will be in the center, and everything going to them, whether it is IMP, whether it is like a device, or whether it is a nurse, we can send it to them. Just want to stop here.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I would possibly want to look at Shinya-san and seek your guidance on how is it actually, what are the implementation challenges that you actually have when you look at decentralized clinical trials?
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the Thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss such important topic today. So I have been actually working for the decentralized clinical trial since some years ago to work with 3H Medi Solutions, Imran's company, not only in Japan, but also in globally, how to optimize clinical trials in the future. Then as we discussed, the challenge, the difficulty of the implementation of this architecture design is not only technology point, but also very much operational architecture design is required. For example, investigators, study coordinators, some medical staff, they are required to visit the patient home or third place or sometimes a satellite hospital in a local area on behalf of patient visit on site. And then, of course, logistics, drug, medical device, lab kit, IMP, any other equipment must be shipped from vendor to patient home on time prior to the home visit. So this is kind of like, I always say, Amazon e-commerce platform. They are very much excellent e-commerce vendor, but they have also super excellent optimized operation platform like logistics or some registration of staffs. So this is one of the difficulty. We need to optimize entire operation and then also regulation.
Very, very true. I will come to the regulation part later, but while we are on the challenges here, if we look at Japan, Japan is a bit of a more homogeneous country. When we start looking at China or we start looking at Europe or India, which has diverse languages, translation challenges will also come up in terms of understanding the protocols and implementing it as against a central trial where you know that you're doing it the right way. What are your experiences around that? Any thoughts on that, please?
The truth is that Japan doesn't want to be the first country to implement any new thing. That's the truth. But it does not mean that they do not want to implement. I mean, let's say the DCT technology. We know that digital health. Digital health is making DCT to actualize in clinical trial. I found many big pharma, many Japanese pharma, they have their department working for digital health. They are working for DCT. But if you come to the actualization or for the operation side, well, they're still waiting that what's the global is going on. I know that for, let's say, one of the very important factors is informed consent. So some of the countries, like let's say the US, they have allowing electronic informed consent, but in Japan it's still like, in the process to accept it. But that's not the case. In other part as well, it is the same thing. Even the EMEA is working on, the global, the European regulatory as well. They're working on the informed consent, the electronic informed consent. Just one example I'm giving that. So the same way, even the PMDA, the Japanese the regulatory board as well, they're working on the informed consent. So the same way, there are the many services which are still not happening in Japan, but they're watching. They have a close eyes on that. They are already preparing everything. In Japan, it takes a lot of preparation, but when they're done, when they are ready to go, you'll find that, wow, this is like something, what is happening in the global plus X. We also know that in Japan there is JGCP. GCP is not normal, but JGCP, because there's the upper level of the GCP, I feel. The JGCP is there, working on. Coming to the other Asian countries, let's say China, India as well. India is more like a adaptable society, but there are the many things which they have to work on. In Asian countries, there is only two countries, which is a clinical trial is needed. That is South Korea and Japan. That goes also for the PMS, post-marketing surveillance. Like when the medicine is on the in the market. There's only two countries. They need to get all the data to continue the support, continue the to be with the patient. So it's only South Korea and Japan. So this is the basic regulatory part. They need to work on that. Then come to the another aspect. So for the clinical trial, I believe for the DCT, also in Japan and the South Korea will be the first one to get implemented. Then I think other countries can follow up.
I completely agree with you in the sense that regulations, yes, even if you look at FDA, there are protocols for central administration of clinical trials, but then we look at decentralized trials, it's still emerging, be it EU MDR or the FDA. They are talking about protocols for decentralized care, but then not yet in place where we want to be. When we look at DCT, it certainly brings in a lot more flexibility. Patient centricity for sure is something that it imbibes. Data diversity is something that is so much critical and so much needed for a clinical trial, and that is provided here. And of course, the real-time communication between patient and this one. But the challenge there is, are the platform vendors ready with platform solutions that will help agglomerate data from multiple sources and sort of give you the results that you really need? Because that I see is a challenge. Any thoughts around that, please?
Yeah, I know the e-source, let's say the data available like EHR or PHR, available, let's say the data developed in the hospital, how can we connect it? I mean, that's not centralized in Japan. I mean, each, the channel hospital, they have their own in-house build-up or like a specific build-up, the catalog and the data platform, which is a very challenges, I mean, it was challenging to migrate or connect those data through API to the DCT platform. But there is a way out. I mean, if you are eager to implement it, I mean, the question here, why we should implement it? So first we have to get it clear that do we want to or not? If we want, if it is patient-centric, we are okay to go ahead, but there is a way out. I mean, there are the platform available already in the market or with the big companies as well. They are giving a total solution. I mean, you can go for the primary care, you can also have the treatment, and then those hospitals can also participate in the clinical trial. So those data can be, connected to the EDC. And again, I mean, that could be compliance proof. So the FDA is also working on it. And I, as per my knowledge, the EMEA is also working for that. So PMD is also working for that. The future is that the data will be available directly to the sponsor, and a sponsor can select those study sites where there is availability of the patient. Like I think in the beginning, the Ravi was saying that 40% of the clinical trial is just like, put in on the like cold box. I mean, it's like lagging behind or, or it is like no more in the clinical trial. So which means if we lose one molecule, so how many billion we are losing it, So as per my knowledge, 10,000 molecules coming to one medicine. So you can see the ratio of becoming, getting medicine. We know that the efficacy rates of the oncology study, I think not more than 40%. So 40% chances that the patient will be getting better. So we need to work how much hard? 10,000 oncology molecule coming to one. So we need to cooperate. We should not be, egoistic, or we say that we have our own arena and we don't want to cooperate with someone. Now you maybe know that, the Tesla was helped by one of the big automobile company, Tesla, helped by Toyota. So Tesla car were made on the Toyota platform. So how it is like, they are competitor at the same time, is a very healthy competition they're doing it. Same way we need to go ahead with working together with the hospital or the SMO or the PR or the CRO and coming together to make a better society, So.
I think I would possibly turn back to you, Shinya-san. In terms of, we know that what the advantages are in terms of DCT, and that's where the industry is heading towards it. But when you want to when you want to go and put in some complex protocols, what do you think is the time that it is going to take for implementing it in a DCT mode as against a centralized mode? Any experience or thoughts around that, please?
Okay, thank you so much. So this challenge, we really need to closely and deeply discuss with the clinical site. Of course, including investigator, principal investigator and sub-inspectors as well, study coordinator, because such protocol is gonna be like adaptive design. Patient-centric means sometimes clinical operation will be changing or updating during the visit. So the most important point is, of course, patient centricity, but co-medical staffs only understand such operation. So this is super important. But current our process sponsor, like pharmaceutical company, has already designed their protocol by themselves. Then after that, they reach out to a clinical site to discuss about the DCT implementation or such possibility. But as long as I have been seeing such situation, it's quite difficult after the completion of final protocol. So the probably key message would be to involve all stakeholders as early as possible.
That's true. And then design the protocol based on the ground realities rather than making something and then trying to force fit on ground by when you change the process from a centralized trial to a decentralized trial.
Yes.
I'm going to quickly turn around to you, Imran, and give us what do you think is going to be the future of DCT in the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you think this whole thing is headed to?
I think not about DCT. I think health will be totally different. As I said yesterday, the healthcare doesn't start at hospital. I mean, it's the sick care. When we are already sick, we go to the hospital. So now the people are getting conscious. They are having wearables. It's not a wearable, it's insightable. Now we know that some of the technology, the patient, they are going to the hospital before the heart attack happened. They say, this data is showing me, and it was true. So before there was like the healthcare silos. Now we have 360 information. No more there is like a waiting room in a hospital. Now it's like a home hospital. In the living room, you can connect to the your specialist. You can ask the question. So the people are getting conscious. Now we are talking about the precision medicine. We are talking about as the Shinya told us. I know that I was in the patient recruitment side, and I say they decide patient population and then try to match up with the patient, and they don't find 40%. Means how many $1 billion? Means that $1 billion is not the sponsor money, it's your money. Means if the investment is much on the medicine, they are going to charge more on you. Nobody is going to lose their money. So if the development cost is high, the medicine cost will be on you people. So if we are more consistent, now you can take your own data and you will be responsible for that. You can utilize it. Now we are actually providing the server your own account, so you can connect it, and by yourself you can enroll for the study. You can give those data to the to CR or to a sponsor and say these are my EHR data, or let's say even the PHR data. So these data can be utilized to have to develop the medicine, and means reducing the burden, jettison the burden on developing the medicine. That's like coming. That's the future here. That's the future here.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think in the interest of time, I would possibly summarize saying that clinical trials is an absolute must. There is no way that we can do anything without a clinical trial. The world is heading more towards a hybrid mode. Some of these clinical trials are going to be centralized and some of them will be decentralized. So we would get to see the both, so you get the flavor of both the speed and the diversity of population in terms of doing an analysis. I would possibly want to thank you here and then open it for the audience for a couple of questions before we close the session.
Amazing. Thank you. Great session. Give him a round of applause, please. Thank you. Coming from the back of the room. Anyone have any questions? Since I'm standing right here, I won't make you walk, okay? We got time for one question. What's your name and what's your question?
Hi, Ritesh Patel with Finn Partners. So why not a hybrid model, right? Not moving all the way to patient-centric. You already have ePro, you already have eCOA. You could do e-consent now, pretty much in most countries. So shifting to patient centricity straight away may not be the answer. Maybe the hybrid model is to go. That's number one. But number two, the bigger issue is what's happening with patient recruitment? Because we can do this for the PIs, but we still need to find the patients. I haven't seen anything around that.
Okay, a very good question. is a site-centric. The patient living nearby area, let's say 30 minutes or an hour of radius, can join the study. But in the DCT, they can join, let's say study is happening in Dubai, they can join even there in Abu Dhabi. Why? Because it's online, and the IMP can be delivered to them. New medicine will be, the molecule can be delivered to them. The nurse can go there and have the health checkup. We also have the mobile clinics. If it is we also have the survey, and they say they don't want anyone to come to our house. So the mobile clinics is there. They can go the nearby mobile clinics, the bus, and everything is inside. They can go there and can have, the checkup and all. So this DCT is, making those patients want to enroll for the study and not leaving nearby study site. That's the beauty of that.
I think one thing that is going to stand out is the veracity of data that you can get in, as also the volume of patients, because now you are not constrained to a particular location. You can go wherever and then try and see what you can do to sort of bring in patients. So diversity is one definitive advantage. The second one is going to be the volume of patient that you can bring into the system for analysis and study, thereby driving much better outcomes.
I agree.
Fantastic, fantastic. Really well. I always like to say when it comes to marketing, word of mouth marketing is the best. So we were talking about customer-centric and getting and recruiting. I think sometimes word-of-mouth marketing might fill a lot more than we realize. Give them a round of applause. This panel was a great conversation. I see someone streaming live. Thank you for a little bit more mic time here, a little sound. We're rocking and rolling. Nice to see you guys back from lunch. I hope you enjoyed that great lunch. Guys, would you take a stand over here a little closer to the edge? Where's my paparazzi? Babu, here you go. We're streaming live on YouTube. Day 2 at Health 2.0. You can see it here, all the information you need to build businesses around health around the globe. Great content. You guys liking it? All right. You know that part about we got to wake up? I thought I could feed you. I get a little sugar rush. Got a little, a little bit extra. Thank you, guys. Fantastic. Well done. Well, you know who to talk to if you want to keep this conversation going. Tonight, networking is going to be a fun one because they'll be there so you can ask your questions and really engage in topics that are relevant, right? Anyone in the room connect with these guys on LinkedIn? All right, we got a hand. I like it. I like it. Everyone here is in your book. Check out your catalog. If not, just check it out online on all the social platforms. #Health2Conf. That's the hashtag they're using for this conference. It's the same wording that you see on your tent, that little tent in front of you and every one of you. All right, are you ready to move it forward? We're going to bring up a panel discussion all about the backbone of healthcare. It's all about the private healthcare systems in developing countries and what they're doing to build the healthcare system in each one of these countries. So are you ready to dive deeper? Wait a second, I can't hear you. Are you ready to dive deeper into health today? Oh, yay, awesome, I knew you were there. Okay, great, we want to keep it going. We want to keep the conversation going. Oh, wait, hold on, I want to announce you ladies. Okay, Ahmed Ezzedine, the Senior Franchise Director of MENA,